All right. Yeah. So I think we can probably all agree that the powers that be are, they got a grip. They got a good grip right now, right? Like, there's a reason TVs aren't getting more and more expensive over time, right? Because the TV is an advertising unit to get you to, kind of watch all this stuff and see all these things. And, everybody's got a phone, the entire world at your fingertips, and shit's pretty crazy, right? And the way that some things get portrayed to you is also basically kind of targeted to make you think everything's crazy and get really worried and not gotcha journalism, that's not the right word, but just like, you don't have to go so far as to call it fear-mongering, but if you're a news outlet of any variety, you want to make your headlining story as crazy as possible, right? So I guess all I'm trying to say there is the world's pretty big. The world's pretty freaking huge. How big is your part in it, relatively? You know what I'm saying? So if it's decently small compared to just, everything else that's going on in the entire world that you have no control over basically whatsoever, well then maybe try to focus on your part, right? Maybe try to keep an eye on your own routine and your own kind of just like people who are kind of surrounding you. That's your life, right? That's the actual meat and potatoes of what you're doing. Any kind of random like argument or just discussion or whatever, that's kind of just extra jargon to get you to lean one way or the other about whatever, right? So just make sure I guess what I'm trying to say is try to keep your house in order. And the more that it is, honestly, I think you'll start to feel kind of a generalized calm, So it's not like don't worry about random crap going on in the world, but you still got your own world to deal with, You're 100% responsible for all the crazy crap that you've got to do. That's priority number one. And then after that, kind of branch out a little more. So just keep that in mind, right? If you got a lift, focus on your lift. If you got some cardio, if you got a dieting goal, make that a number one priority. And I think things will kind of follow suit well after that. And it's not just fitness; it's anything. There's a certain kind of just I don't want to say mindset change, but like a little paradigm shift in your head. Oh, thank you. Where anybody who does anything purely for, something's own sake, very consistently, for hours upon hours over time, I think they're just a different kind of dude, Like take one guy who basically just doesn't do jack, just nothing. I'm sure we all know somebody like that, versus somebody who maybe his thing is, his thing could be anything, and playing into the whole social media like on your phone thing, you could kind of, if you're super good at something, that could literally be your thing, right? There's a reason why you're watching the World Championship dart throwers in England. I guess I've never seen them flying around in a private jet, but it wouldn't surprise me, So it's I from my perspective, at least, since I've got the gym and bodybuilding and training and cardio and everything that goes along with it, I feel like for me to have that is very valuable, and I wouldn't want to trade it for anything else, So I guess that's kind of my main point. That's the main idea of that little, kind of ramble. Make sure you have something. And if you don't have something, well, that's not a problem. It just means you got to find it, right? And you don't have to stick to one thing forever. You can pick something, realize you don't care for it, move on, pick something else. There's no rules. There's no rules to the game of life. It's like a creative Minecraft world. You can kind of do whatever the hell you want with it. Try to have as much fun as possible. So the way that I'm going to do that right now is I'm going to go hit chest. I've brought, I think, 8 ounces, or not I think, I know, 8 ounces of some kind of steak fillet, like not like fancy, but just like a lean-ish cut. Because what I've been doing is to bulk cook steak, like to make ground beef in bulk, not the hardest thing in the world. Really, all I got to do is sit there fill up a pot with 5 pounds of it, put it on medium, put the lid on it. You don't even have to stir it. I could probably just sit there and wait. It'll all cook through, strain the fat off, and then I'm good. But with steaks, it's like, sometimes I'm like, okay, if I'm making steak, I'm going to make it good. Oil, salt, pepper, sear. I don't think it's worth it. Not if I'm trying to make like 8 pounds at once. So what I've been doing is I just get a disposable, I don't really get them. I had like a 10-pack of like the aluminum or tin whatever foil oven trays. So I've just been kind of running through those. Like, I guess once I'm out, I'll just use a regular whatever. Set the oven to 350, put a thermometer in the center of the thickest piece, wait until it's an internal of 125, take it out, boom, right, straight into a Tupperware, and I'm ready to cut off as many chunks as necessary. So the protein that I have prepped in the fridge waiting for me is 6 pounds now of that steak. I already ate all my ground beef, so I'm going to have to up my ground beef game when I get home, and all the canned chicken and tuna, which I've kind of been chilling out on the canned chicken, not because of like a salt thing or like an additive thing. I'm just kind of a little tired of it. It'll come back though, but to swap out some canned chicken with some more steak or some more ground beef or some more canned tuna, I don't think there's a massive difference. You're not suddenly gonna grow double size like the Grinch's heart, or that'd be triple size, from eating salmon versus tuna, or ground beef versus steak, or whatever versus whatever. When it comes to protein sources, if I had to list off my top 10, or my top however many I can think of, in terms of overall quality, and a lot of guys like to talk about nutrient density. Yes, obviously, like steak is going to be much more nutrient dense than if you're just pouring out like 4 cups of egg whites into a pan only. But the whole point of bodybuilding training, and at least like very specific dieting like that, is kind of like the compartmentalization of different parts, So if I want 50 grams of solid protein, I don't care if 50 grams of egg whites alone doesn't have as much potassium or something or other that I might need, because I'm also going to get all that stuff from the carbs that I eat and the fats. So to track it really accurately, it makes it much easier to separate those food groups. Protein alone, carbs alone, fats, like the buffalo sauce I added to these steaks, that's kind of calculated in, But I think steak is up there. If I really had to pick only one protein indefinitely, it's going to be beef. I really think that's probably the best. Just because all around, totally complete. You could go from a leaner cut to a really fatty cut like a ribeye. I think beef's probably your best bet. If you're not eating at least, I don't want to say a pound a day because my days fluctuate, but having some red meat in your system, beyond just like the classic masculine, like I'm going to eat a steak, I really do think it's solid. You're never going to go wrong getting some lean beef into your system. So beef is solid, chicken solid, egg solid, tuna solid. Basically, I'd be hard pressed to say a fish that's not solid. Shrimp, solid. Crabs, or crustacean, solid. Every time if I ever get a lobster at a restaurant, I'm going to count that protein. Shrimp, I think I just said shrimp. What else am I missing? Dairy, protein powders, and then protein powders can also be developed from beef protein, not just from whey. So if you're let's say you're a little bit more sensitive to the dairy-based, like whey protein, a beef-based protein, I know that sounds kind of weird. I've tried it before, pretty solid. Now I'm not doing as much just because of dieting. I would prefer to eat my protein so I'm more full rather than just drink it. But I think the beef-based protein there's a little something there for sure, especially if whey messes with your gut. So let me think, what else am I missing? I guess any other red meat. Lamb, solid. Not really a lamb chops fan though, so maybe not as much. But yeah, you're never going to go wrong with the basics. So I kind of forget where that ramble started, but you're going to have a hard time going wrong with conventional proteins. You might get into a little, not trouble, but maybe some inaccurate readings. Like a lot of protein bars are, especially some of the fancier ones too, they taste super good. I'm not going to do a specific call out, unless I did have like a specific protein bar and I held it up like something like that. But some of them taste pretty freaking solid. But sometimes the problem is it's not a totally awesome protein. The basic gist with proteins is going to be you're having a specific assortment of amino acids. And animal proteins get that done pretty well. I'm an animal. So animal proteins kind of match, right, with the same sort of deal. If you get a little more kind of isolated where there's like just a lot of collagen or like EAAs, or BCAA, so it's amino acids, like it is proteins, but it's not a complete chain. It's not like it doesn't count, but it's you're just missing out on some of that, not absorption, but like overall total utilization. I don't know the exact specific, like what if I ate 300 grams of glutamine in one day? Like what would that actually do? Glutamine is just one of like some of the classic key amino acids. That'd be a question for more of like a like an organic, not organic chemistry, would that be more like kind of medical? Well, either way, my understanding is that would be kind of like getting a Lego set and then 8 of the bags are missing and you only had 1. Like, sure, you still have a box with Legos in it, but it's not everything that you need to put it all together, So if you've got a bit of a diet restriction, maybe you got bit by that one tick where now you have like a really bad protein intolerance, at least for red meat, then you got to kind of work around that. But for the most part, nah, man, if you can get it in, freaking go for it. But I completely lost my train of thought, so let's just talk about the lift. So yeah, plan for today with chest. Maybe not go too nuts. I went kind of wild last chest day with the 150s, so I don't feel anything now, but when I'm dieting, if every lift of the same muscle group back to back to back is like heavy weight, yeah, I do start to feel it. I get a little tender. I get a little bit of like tendon fatigue. And that's not what I want, because the last thing I want to do is start warming up and then feel my chest and say, oh, something like that. So I'll be a little careful. Make sure when I'm warming up my rotator cuff and my back and my everything that I actually feel the gauge on how things are kind of moving back and forth. Because if everything feels good, well then shit, maybe I might start with some heavy machine press. But dieting, especially with the point being to do a competition, I'm gonna look like a total freaking fool if I rip my pec off. So and I don't want to do that anyway. So that's just even more motivation not to hurt myself. Like I know that seems kind of silly for me to say that I care about not hurting myself, but over the course of the last few years, yeah, I think I've got a little bit better. I've got a little better gauge of caution in the training, because I want to ride the line, obviously, of really killing it, bringing it, going freaking heavy, stimulating my muscles. But if that's to the point where I'm having tweaks, I'm having tears, if you don't stop, if you keep that up, well then eventually you're going to get to the point of needing reconstruction, and then you never recover from some things. Some guys have a bum shoulder and shit, that's just life. Yeah, I used to be able to, when I was younger, I don't know, you might have heard of me, my name was Sam. I used to bench like 4 plates, I could do the 150s, it was pretty crazy. But then I had this shoulder thing, because I kept benching with a hurt shoulder, and then I just destroyed my labrum. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. That's the Sam Sulik bad ending. I don't want to go down that path. So I'm gonna make sure I don't throw anything off. But in the process, still get a wild chest pump. So I'm pretty sure the gym's gonna be dead. I guess we'll just have to see. But let's get this chest day started. No need for the 150s to start today. Let's completely polar opposite that with 110 on the cable, which I'm pretty sure only weighs like 55 pounds, because that's 110 pounds of weight, but this pulley is a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-2, so I'm only feeling like 65. I think that's how that works. So instead of starting off with a nasty set, a bit more controlled. And I understand the critique of how this looks, because I'm bending over, leaning forward just a touch, and I'm going hand over hand. I certainly see how that looks like a lot of front delt, and I'm really trying to keep my front delts out of it. But something about being able to go from just like here with a regular cable press to the overhand up that deep, like that little extra something, I'm getting all upper pec, like right up in here, crawling above my collarbone. So I think starting with a few sets of this will be good, and then shit, we'll just kind of go from there. There we go. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 2 more of those. That's a very different burning feeling than heavy dumbbells gives me, that's for sure. But yeah, a couple more, then we'll move on. 2. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One more. One more. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's grab the pec deck now. I've got some thoughts on this lift, but let's save that for the pose down. So after those 4 sets of the burning, squeezing cable presses, just one feeler rep here, I don't know if it's like the activation or whatever, but I feel like everything is fucking firing. Like even sitting here just kind of flexing, like I feel my whole chest top to bottom. Whereas if I was a little colder, I might not get that, like, I don't know. It's like I'm just perpetually about to contract. So even the slightest like signal gets my pecs going. But let's get going. Yeah. 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 Okay. I can't do one more of those. Let's go back to the cable. The cable's the star of the freaking show today. Let's get these lights off. All right. So, yeah, not the wildest chest day ever. In terms of overall workload, I mean, not even close to last chest day. But the reason being, it wasn't like I felt like shit or like, not to say I didn't feel like bad. I didn't feel like my pecs are still like sore from last chest day. I guess the real reason I did so much of that squeezing cable work was just because it felt really good. I've had tricep days where I think I'm going to do rope, push down, dip, overhead extension. But then the rope ends up feeling so good and I can like really click with it that I don't move on to anything else. So doing the one pec deck was good. I forgot I had the extra plate on the back. No wonder it felt a little heavier. But that was a good set too. But those ones felt a lot better. Something about it just freaking clicked. So if you ever have a lift where maybe you had an idea of like, all right, curls, preacher curls, cable curls, a million other kind of curls that there are. And then you start with basic dumbbell curls and the dumbbell curls feel sweet and they're just clicking. Why would you want to move on to anything else? I mean, we're already doing, let's say we're hitting muscle groups twice a week in general. So 104 bicep days a year. I can have a lift every so often where I just do one movement instead of changing it up every time to make sure everything's like totally freaking perfect. And define perfect. Like, are we saying a workout is only good and effective if you do 3 different movements that target 3 different parts of your chest and then you do 3 different styles? Like, it's not so, that's like going into a museum with a clipboard and writing 3 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Like, I mean, obviously I need to do something to my pecs, but that something isn't a 3-step program that's the same for everybody every time. Some variation's good for you. But let's see how some standard poses look. Even just standing, like doing nothing, sometimes I can't tell what's crazy, like looking in the mirror or looking like through the camera screen, but I'm feeling freaking good. So let's see how some of these are looking. Oh man. All right. What else is there? Oh, goodness. That's basically all of them for chest. But yeah, even not flexing, like just leaning back, and of course the lighting's like fancy here too, but I feel like I haven't had this kind of like graininess at least for a while. Well, I guess all that means now is I gotta go do 30 minutes on the bike. I was cranking, I don't know. It's sometimes I get caught on like a runaway train mentality with the cardio because, all right, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, I'm getting lean. Well, shit, an hour in the morning and an hour at night, even better. But then that doesn't leave me any room to go anywhere. So I think I like the feeling of just not even like, it's not like I like sitting and doing it. Like I would totally rather chill, but like I like the feeling of knowing that I'm going so hard on it. I think I might need to tone it back down though. I'm going to go back to that 35 minutes instead of the hour and increase slowly. I got to only go up 5 minutes per session instead of just jumping straight to full freaking throttle. Because I mean, I've still got, it's about 11 weeks of twice a day cardio, plus workouts, plus everything, and getting leaner, of course. And the difficulty with dieting isn't only you have to diet for, X period of time or until you reach X like level of, body fat loss or whatever. It's also, it gets harder over time too. If you diet enough, you get good at it to the point where you can do it consistently, but it's not like it's not hard. Like I would never sit here and try to, I think some guys do this. It's like a macho, like, oh dude, you can't even diet, bro. Just put down the fork, man. Like, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not super complicated, And the more I do it, for the first month that I've been dieting, I just got to eat whatever I wanted because I was coming from bulk. For me to eat at bulk level, this is more food than I want to eat. So for 1 month, so this is bulk month at this level. So the next month, if I eat as much as I actually want, which is a little bit lower, well then now I'm losing some weight and it's actually really easy. And then the next month, I decided to drop my food down a little lower than that. Still pretty full, still pretty easy. And the month after that, all right, now this is intentional. I have to intentionally not snack. I'm always counting my calories, but I've got to look and say, okay, it's noon. Shit, I've already had 1,000. I got to make 1,500 stretch for the rest of today. So there's just a bit of effort that goes into it, right? It's like you're digging a hole, you're mining. That wooden pick in the beginning, it's not going to work, right? You got to upgrade your arsenal. Come at it with rock or stone, and then iron, right? And then hopefully you're not using a gold. I get that it's quick, but I never did that. So, nothing else to say. I got to go stop at the Y or somewhere else because my cardio bike's freaking busted. Hit my 30, and then I'll see you in the car after. There we go. Every time I do that, I'm testing to make sure that the audio is working, so I can see the little like audio sound bar go on. Like I don't just have like a tick where I have to turn the camera on and make a sound. But nah, that felt pretty good. So I think I've made a decision. Currently 11 weeks out, a little bit less or a little bit more, but basically 11 weeks. Morning weight has been bouncing around 236, which is actually good. That's a little ahead of schedule than what I thought. So I need to weigh, let me kind of go back a little bit. Earlier this year, when I did my first prep, my walk around weight after going to the bathroom, empty stomach, hydrated, was just about 230. I was walking around at 230, decently peeled, grain quads were jumping out all over the place. So right now, if I'm walking around 236, that tells me I'm only a couple of pounds away from that same sort of look, which, I mean, visually as well. So I was getting myself a little excited. Let's cool it on the hour cardio for both sessions. I think 45 minutes, average heart rate around that 130. That's about right. And I think I'm going to swap my routine around again too. I've been liking morning lifts where it's like just, okay, first thing in the morning after I eat something, head to the gym, or at least like the first thing for the day is go head to the gym, work out, cardio, and then a cardio session at night. But I think it's making me stay up later than I would like, because I end up pushing the second cardio session off a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is go back to trying to wake up a little earlier. Instant cardio in the basement. So that's with the home recumbent bike that I've got. It's a little old, but it gets the job done. You know, you don't need it's not like a gaming computer where you need a 5090 in your bike. All it has to do is provide a little bit of, resistance. That guy honked at me because normally you're not supposed to, whatever. But I think 45 minutes instant in the morning, and then if I want to just chill after that for a bit, that's cool. I think that'll be good because I want to be able to have time just to get my regular stuff in between. You never want to feel, and I never want to feel rushed for a lift. Whenever I do, it's fine. Like, okay, I gotta hit this right now in this time period. But with working out, I like it. I want to like it. I want to be in a good headspace when I do it. And, that's no fun. Like, imagine telling somebody who I couldn't imagine someone having like an art studio. They're trying to really put a lot of effort into this, maybe a landscape or something, and then they have to say, all right, man, you got 30 minutes and then you got to leave. It's not like you need to be in the right headspace. Like, sometimes it's a good challenge to still do a good workout with shit going down, because then it kind of like, I want to say, toughens up your mindset a little bit. But sometimes harder isn't always better, right? I think there's like two they're not opposing, but kind of like opposite views that I have towards working out. One is like, the old head, like, just thug it out, do it. But the other is also, well, why make it harder on yourself than it has to be, So it's kind of it's a twofold thing. And I think if you have a good amount of each of that kind of mentality mixed into you, then you're probably set up for success. Because if shit goes down, you're still going to get your stuff done. But also, when things are going really well, you kind of, move in prime time then too, right? So it's like, I'm hoping it's a sunny day and I'm in an awesome mood and I'm going to have fun when I work out. But if that doesn't happen, it's not game over. It'll just be might just be a little bit trickier, right? So just try to find a routine that you like, I think is what I'm trying to say. So not only that, but also depending on your gym, because I kind of bounce around, and when I'm in prep, I feel like I don't identify as like saying I'm just dieting, but when I'm dieting, I like being a little more secluded. Like, I like just hitting the lift, no distractions, no nothing. Like, I'm really excited that I can have the private gym now, because I basically worked out in a private gym the entire prep earlier this year for the Arnold Amateur, because I had this kind of like hookup with this smaller sort of gym setup, and I would just go there all the time because, like, I was especially deeper into the diet too. I'm sitting there, I'm like if I had quads and then the only leg extension at the gym was taken, and it's like, you're never, I don't think you're ever entitled to like, woe is you, like, oh, everybody's on my equipment. But there are some cases where that kind of is the situation, and there's just no getting around it. But yeah, no, this time I'm feeling like we're sailing smooth. That's for sure. So, is it, what day is today? Yeah, the 17th. Only barely halfway through December. Yeah, we are freaking good. So, who knows? Maybe, I guess if January 1st is going to be like 2 weeks away, yeah, should be walking around like a 234. Yeah, quads should be looking a touch or a little bit veinier by then too. And then speaking of quads, I've got quads tomorrow. So I think I'll make tomorrow's cardio sessions on the treadmill rather than the bike. Because I still want to do cardio even with quads being hit on that day. But the seated bike is very quad, kind of utilizing. It's got a lot of quad in it. Whereas the Stairmaster, the treadmill is pretty low anything. You're not getting off the treadmill thinking, oh, my quads are on fire, or you're just not exactly, you're just kind of freaking stepping. But yeah, I'm all caught up on Pluribus, and I'm all caught up on Landman Season 2, which somebody, I talked about that either yesterday or the day before, and somebody commented, Landman Season 2 sucks ass. And I didn't think so. If you're watching it right now, it might be a little slower because, they're only on episode, 4 or 5? It's a continuation of the story, man. It's not always going to be crazy-ass explosions and shit. I think Season 2 of The Landman 2 is pretty freaking good. Or just Landman. So, if you disagree, and I think it's if you have Apple TV, I don't remember if it's on Apple TV, if it's on fucking like Prime. This is kind of, I was about to say something which is like an ignorant take, but I was going to say, if there was just one singular monopoly of streaming services, on a surface level, it would seem like a good thing, because then every show would just be right there. But that would come with its own problems. But the fact that there's like 50, and you can do Paramount and Hulu and Peacock, and it's fucking nuts, But I guess that's just how it rolls. At least we can keep it simple here, just with with the YouTube videos. It's not like the streams where everybody's on different apps. Yeah, but I feel like everybody's getting their stuff done. If you're, and I can't think of everybody going on, but if you've ever seen, oh my god, why the hell am I forgetting his name? I got no idea. Never, completely blur that thought. I can't remember this guy's fucking name. But no, so that kind of ends that. But after chest, I brought my little Tupperware with the ground beef and the, I think it's the Sweet Baby Ray's creamy buffalo sauce, which is really good. Like, it's got a good amount of just like kick, and the kind of creaminess is a little bit better than just like a Red Hot. Like, if I just had Red Hot, that'd be, dieting wise better, because Red Hot has no calories as far as I know. And if it does, it's like, it would have the same amount of calories that mustard has. Like, I'm sure there's a little bit of maybe residual carbs or something, but not much, right? Certainly not enough to be, have an impact on your day's caloric value. But I mixed up 8 ounces, cubed it, added 30 grams of the buffalo sauce, mixed it all together. But since I let it sit for a little bit, the sauce actually kind of like, not marinated since it was already cooked, but kind of just seeped into the steak. So I probably could have got away with like 10 grams of that sauce, because it would kind of all mix around and get sort of imbued into the steaks. And then instead of 10 grams of fat in that one little meal, it would have been like 4. It would be 3.3, but anytime there's like a 0.5 grams of fat in something, I think it's the responsible move as a calorie tracker to round that up or down, depending on what your dieting phase is. Like if I'm looking at a meal, let's say, I don't even know, maybe steak, potatoes, broccoli, let's say restaurant meal, steak, potatoes, broccoli. When I'm dieting, I'm going to overestimate, or at least I'm going to like err on overestimating whatever amount of calories and macros were in that. The protein, I want to guess just right, but if it's legitimately maybe 30 grams of fat for that whole meal, or whatever, if I say 10 and I'm trying to diet, well, I just ate 20 extra grams of fat. 20 extra grams of fat's just sneaked in, and I didn't even account for it to maybe adjust later or anything like that. Whereas if I counted it as 40, well, then on that day I ate 10 grams less of fat than I intended to, and at least in a dieting sense, that doesn't put me behind. If you're trying to bulk up, this is something that the opposite case happens a lot. Guys often overestimate how much food they're eating. You know, this is the classic, like, oh, dude, you don't understand, man. I've tried to gain weight. It just doesn't work for me. Just my metabolism is just on freaking fire, you know. I just can't, I'm eating 6,000 a day. Me and Brian Shaw, we're right there eating the same amount of food, but somehow he's 350 pounds and, well, I'm stuck at 160. 10,000 calories a day, man. Yeah, me too. And I can dunk. You know, I can do a split the legs twice, like under reach around slam, and you know, do a standing backflip afterward. Yeah, no freaking chance. You're dreaming. But plan now. Actually, since I kind of already just ate like an hour ago, just shower off, get this video edited, and then I'll see you for some quads tomorrow. That's for freaking sure. So, I'll see you then.